Right now, on a farm somewhere in this country, someone is spraying a plant to kill it. And in a health food store across town, someone else is paying good money for a bottle of capsules made from that same plant's root. Neither of them knows about the other. That root grows deep and spindle-shaped, brown on the outside, and a startling bright yellow the moment you cut it open. For more than 100 years, American doctors prescribed it by name. It was listed in the official United States Pharmacopoeia, the register of medicines every druggist was expected to stock. They reached for it when a patient came in pale, exhausted, and short of breath. The same tiredness that sends people today to the supplement aisle for a bottle of iron pills. So how does one plant end up on a doctor's shelf and a herbicide label at the same time? The root is called yellow dock, Rumex crispus. Welcome to nature's lost vault. This story does not begin in a pasture. It begins on a pharmacist's shelf, in an age when the line between a garden and a medicine cabinet was a great deal thinner than it is today. In 1890, the root of Rumex crispus was entered into the United States Pharmacopoeia. This was not folk hearsay passed around a campfire. It was on the books. An official American medicine. 8 years later, in 1898, two of the most respected medical botanists of the era, Harvey Wicks Felter and John Uri Lloyd, wrote the plant up in King's American Dispensatory. They described the root as a gentle but persistent tonic, with a particular pull toward the liver and the digestive organs. Decades before that, in 1869, the physician William Cook had already placed it in his physiomedical dispensatory and called it one of the best of its entire class. And what class was that? The old physicians used a phrase you almost never hear anymore. They called yellow dock a blood builder. When someone came in with the pale skin, the low energy, the breathlessness halfway up the stairs, they did not yet have a modern blood test to point at. They called the condition chlorosis, the green sickness. The dock root was one of the first things they reached for. For the country doctor, a steady course of it taken with meals was a standard answer. We have a plainer name for most of what they were describing now: iron-deficiency anemia. As late as 1918, the dispensatory of the United States was still calling the powdered root a valuable iron medicine, given right at mealtimes. Picture that. A plant a modern farmer sprays without a second thought once held a formal entry in the same reference book that governed the nation's pharmacies. That standing felt permanent at the time. It wasn't. The same root a country doctor once kept within arm's reach was about to be reclassified as something to exterminate. Yellow dock did not arrive in America on purpose. It most likely crossed the Atlantic in the 1600s, mixed into the crop seed and cattle feed the British carried to New England. From there, it spread to every state and every Canadian province until it became one of the most widely distributed plants of its kind on the planet. Its seeds can lie dormant in the soil for as long as 80 years and still sprout. A plant that's stubborn, growing thick in pastures and hayfields, was bound to make enemies. To a rancher, it is competition, crowding out the grass that cattle actually graze, and in large amounts its leaves can sicken livestock. So an entire control industry grew up around getting rid of it. Today, curly dock appears on the official noxious plant lists of Michigan, Indiana, Iowa, and Minnesota. Agricultural extension offices publish step-by-step guides for wiping it out. Walk into any farm supply store and you will find the chemicals built to do exactly that. The herbicide 2,4-D dicamba blends sold under names like Weedmaster, glyphosate, metsulfuron products, most of them listing curly dock by name on the label. Now hold those two facts side by side. The same root being sprayed off the back 40 is dried, powdered, and sold in capsules in the health aisle for your money. You can order yellow dock root by the bottle this afternoon. The living plant that makes it for free is treated as a threat to be eliminated. You pay for the thing you are paying to kill. You would think more people would have noticed the contradiction. For the most part, nobody did. So that is the suppression story, clean and simple. Except it is not that simple. And the part that complicates it turns out to be the most interesting part of all. In the late 1990s, two researchers in New Zealand, the herbalist Isla Burgess and a physician named Nikki Bailey, decided to actually test the claim that everyone kept repeating. They ran a 10-week trial with 49 people, comparing several traditional iron tonics and measuring real blood markers like hemoglobin and ferritin. One of the things they tested was a standard commercial extract of yellow dock root. The result was not what the textbooks promised. The dock extract, taken on its own, did not lift people's iron markers. And when that extract was sent off to be analyzed, it contained no measurable iron at all. People thought they had the full picture of this plant. They were wrong. The root that built its entire reputation on building blood was, in that particular form, delivering almost none of it. Sit with that for a second. The reputation was real. The official listings were real. And yet the bottle on the shelf could be all but empty of the one thing everyone bought it for. But the same study held the answer, sitting right next to the failure. The protocols that did raise people's iron were the ones that included blackstrap molasses. And dock root combined with molasses worked better than the molasses on its own. That single detail unlocks everything. The modern product that failed was an alcohol extract, a tincture. Minerals like iron do not dissolve well into alcohol. They dissolve into water, into vinegar, and into syrup. The old physicians knew this in practice long before anyone could explain the chemistry. They never handed you a dropper bottle. They gave the whole powdered root at meal times, or simmered it for hours into a thick decoction, or cooked it down with molasses into an iron syrup you took by the spoonful. Change the form, and you change the result. And the whole root really is mineral-rich when you use all of it. In 2019, a team led by Anthony Afolayan at the University of Fort Hare published a full breakdown of Rumex crispus in the journal Plants, confirming that the root and the leaf carry iron alongside calcium, magnesium, zinc, and a stack of other minerals the plant draws up out of the soil. The same study measured the catch. The plant also holds tannins and oxalates that can bind iron in the gut, which is exactly why the old preparations leaned on sour, vitamin C-rich pairings and warned against eating piles of the raw leaf. So the blood builder was never a single hidden megadose of iron tucked inside a stalk. It was a whole plant tonic, a bitter root that nudges the liver and the gut into pulling more out of the food you already eat, prepared in a form that let those minerals come along for the ride. Strip it down to a convenient tincture, or to one isolated iron salt pressed into a pill, and you throw away the very thing that made the old remedy work. So if you would rather meet this plant than poison it, here is what to look for. Through summer and fall, yellow dock throws up a stalk 2 to 4 feet tall, crowned with dense clusters of small green flowers that ripen into rust-brown, papery seeds. Those seed stalks turn a deep reddish bronze and stand stiff all winter, which makes them easy to spot along roadsides, fence lines, ditches, and the edges of fields long after everything around them has died back. The leaves are long and narrow with distinctly wavy, curled margins, and that curl is where the name curly dock comes from. Dig at the base and you will find the deep, spindle-shaped taproot, brown on the outside and bright yellow within. The root is the medicine, and the root is naturally low in oxalates, so it is the part to work with. Harvest it in the fall once the plant has gone to seed. Scrub it, then either dry and powder it, simmer it into a decoction, or cook it down with blackstrap molasses into the old iron syrup. The young leaves are edible too, but they carry oxalic acid, so they are taken small, young, and cooked, the way you would treat spinach. Never by the bowlful raw. Now picture that can of pasture spray one more time, with Curly Doc printed right there on the label as a target. The plant it was built to destroy was once official American medicine, the root a country doctor reached for when you walked in tired and pale. It still grows for free in the ditch behind your house. The only thing that ever really changed is who learned how to sell you the bottle. If this is the kind of thing you came here for, subscribe to Nature's Lost Vault. There is another forgotten plant waiting in the next one, and once you start seeing what we were taught to overlook, you will not be able to unsee it.